Hello and welcome everyone. It is time to enter the Kumite. Remember, this is not a sport. You don't play fight. What's up, fight fans? Today, we're going to be taking a closer look into the upcoming fight between Curtis Blaydes and Tom Aspinall. This is a great matchup and a great fight for the heavyweight division right now. I kind of wish they would have waited a little bit for Aspinall and that maybe matched Aspinall with Tai Tuivasa. That's a very favorable matchup. That's the safest way to build him up. But this is quality fucking matchmaking, and it's another toss-up fight for me. Either man can win this fight, but let's take a closer look at how they may win this fight. Tom Aspinall has been on the come-up. He's been in interviews where he was honest about his assessment of himself fighting Cyril Gane or Francis Ngannou. He seemed doubtful on if he were ready for the top of the heavyweight division with where he's at currently. He has a lot of solid wins, the most impressive, of course, being Alexander Volkov, but he's also beaten the likes of Sofiane Boukashou, Alain Baudot, Sergey Spivak, and even Andrei Arlovsky, and that's a legend there. But I've got to say, in Aspinall's dominant performance over Alexander Volkov, his slickness on the feet, comfortability in the pocket, and the initiative to jump on those takedowns, he grabbed them up and worked for it immediately. I mean, look at how he technically slipped the straight of Volkov, quickly shoots in the outside hip of Volkov. He quickly gets that two-handed grip around the high end of Volkov's legs, and he uses that high point of leverage to topple Volkov over. And I mean, he runs him down with this. Very impressive. Do I think that Aspinall's wrestling will be the key to victory? No, absolutely not. I am impressed by Tom Aspinall's wrestling, and I underestimated it going into that Volkov fight. But let's be honest, Curtis Blaydes is probably the strongest wrestler in the heavyweight division right now. Even if Aspinall gets a blast double and times it perfectly, I don't imagine that he'll be able to control Curtis Blaydes on the ground. The only other heavyweight that I can think of that might contend with Curtis Blaydes for the strongest wrestler in the heavyweight division is possibly Alexander Romanov. Who do you guys think is the strongest wrestler amongst the heavyweights? Let us know down in the comments below. One question I have is, Curtis Blaydes gets the takedown on Aspinall. How well is Aspinall going to do off his back? Aspinall has trained with his father, Andy Aspinall, since he was just a wee little lad. His father is the owner of Aspinall BJJ Gym, and Tom is a black belt under their banner. He also has won 6 British BJJ tournaments, so he's talented on the ground. He's well decorated, but how is his heavyweight BJJ from the bottom going to hold up against who is arguably the strongest wrestler in the division? He's great at throwing up arm triangles and arm bars, and he's great with his butterfly hooks, but it's not easy for these heavyweights to get in good work from the bottom. These big guys hit so hard from the top, and that's a lot of weight to be throwing around with your hips and legs from underneath. What's going to happen if Aspinall gets taken down? Is he going to be able to get himself up or finish the fight from there? He may not get finished, but what if he's losing the rounds that way? I think Blaydes is going to be savvy enough to avoid a lot of the submissions being thrown up. And I think the longer the fight goes and they get a little sweaty, I think that decreases the chances even further of Aspinall getting the submission. Yes, Blaydes might be a little tired out. He might not be as explosive and fighting back on the submissions, but he's going to be slippier. Aspinall's also going to be tired, and his hips are going to be worn out from trying to utilize those butterfly hooks, trying to squeeze with arm triangles that he might get for a little bit. So the grappling is going to be a huge factor in this, but let's take a look at the stand-up. Tom Aspinall has a nice mixture of like a karate and Muay Thai style. He utilizes head movement and footwork for his defense primarily. He likes to be in and out, not rest too much in anyone's range. He regularly brings that leg up for checking kicks and getting those teep kicks or those crossover knee stomps in as an interrupt. But yeah, pretty high-level stuff. A lot of feints and baiting people into that 1-2, particularly that 2. He has a nice jab. He kind of has one of those gazelle jabs. He uses it smoothly, kind of like a fencer, graceful and adaptive. I will say that he's mostly looking to line up that straight or cross. It's integrated into almost everything he does on the feet. He's feinting high, low, making you circle out away from his lead hook. He's trying to get you to move into it. You know, he does train often with Darren Till, and I bet Darren Till is rubbing off on him stylistically. The thing that really makes him stick out is his speed. His movement is pretty quick, but his hands are lightning fast. He has some of the fastest hands at heavyweight that I've ever seen, chaining together long combos and fitting in punches that a lot of guys just don't see coming because it wasn't supposed to be there that quickly. Now for Curtis Blaydes, this is definitely the highest caliber fight of Tom Aspinall's career. Curtis Blaydes is one of the top dogs in heavyweight. Some people may hate on him for whatever reason, but he's got a very impressive career. Alexei Olenek, Mark Hunt, Alistair Overeem, JDS, Alexander Volkov, Jairzinho Rosenstrike, and I guess I'll toss Chris Daukaus in there. It was an impressive performance. Blaydes is likely the strongest wrestler in the division as of right now, and I do see this paying dividends in the fight. Yes, it can be dangerous. Yes, it may be difficult to get him down, but if he gets that takedown, it may guarantee himself the round. He's so strong and smothering on top, and I believe he's savvy enough to at least block submission attempts from top position. Some people say that he's boring on the ground, but if you give him his openings and you aren't working for that hip escape constantly, he can rain down some damage. He just isn't taking too many risks when fitting in that damage. He doesn't like to get reckless and lose control, but don't underestimate the level of danger you are in when you are underneath him. He has those punches to the back of the ear. He's got some hammer fists, and he uses slicing elbows, and he'll fit those in here and there. Aspinall is good on the ground, but how many times might he get hit if he's trying to make space or threaten with a submission? I really don't know how this fight is going to look on the feet. Both guys have made such massive improvements on their stand-up. We've watched as they evolve their striking in the UFC. Curtis Blaydes, in particular, almost looks like a new fighter. He's been showing us that he can be a problem on the feet, especially if you're worried about the takedown. But also because he fights long, he's pretty fast, utilizes the jab, he's a good jab, and he's in and out. We saw in that fight with Lewis that he can prod at you to open you up and counter you for it. He was swinging in the pocket with Derek Lewis because he was doing things right. I see Blaydes having a stronger jab, and he may be a bit stronger at range. I feel like he might be a bit chinny, but he's also only been finished by the KO Kings, Derek Lewis and Francis Ngannou twice. So I don't really know. Aspinall might be able to push the button with that cross of his, but Blaydes might interrupt with a jab and just not be there. Aspinall has more in his toolbox on the feet, I'd say. Blaydes is good at what he does, feint high, low, get in, get out, strong jab, and overhands off of a takedown feint. So let's see here. We have Curtis Blaydes coming in as a -115 favorite, and Tom Aspinall as a -105. So this is a pick'em fight in the betting odds. I agree with that. I don't know who's going to win this fight, I have to be honest. This is a tough one to call. I don't think I'd be confident to pick either way, honestly. Curtis Blaydes is more of a wrestler, and he works well out of dominant positions. I want to say that he's going to have an advantage when things hit the mat because it's probably going to be on his terms. I see Blaydes maintaining his control and landing some shots here and there and kind of stealing rounds. I don't know if Aspinall's BJJ is so oppressive that it's going to stop Blaydes from going to that top position. I think that Blaydes will survive the submission attempts, block the reversals, and burn the clock, even if he's just in full guard and doing just enough to keep it on the ground. I don't think that Aspinall will be afraid of Blaydes' grappling, and I don't see him being out of his element. I do favor Aspinall on the feet, though. He's got a better understanding of footwork, he has more things in his toolbox, and I think he has enough power to flicker the lights off on Blaydes if he can catch him clean. Blaydes is also a bit sloppy on those takedown entries. The fight with Lewis is the perfect example of that. So there's a chance that Aspinall could make a good read and land something meaningful. Ultimately, though, I'm going to go with Curtis Blaydes via decision. I see this being a long and grueling fight for Aspinall, where he's fighting off his back for a good bit of it. I see him landing on Blaydes during the stand-up exchanges, but I do see Blaydes working his way inside and getting some trips. And I believe Blaydes will be the physically stronger fighter in there. So I see him being more able to press Aspinall's back to the cage. It's a tough one to call, but I'm going to say that Blaydes does get a few takedowns, and I say he makes good use of them. Sorry, Aspinall fans, for picking against him again. I swear if he wins this one, he's going to be held in an entirely new regard from me. I just want to see more, and I need to see what he looks like at this level in the game. The top threshold of the heavyweight division. With that, I'll go ahead and wrap things up. If you like the content we're providing, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. If you disagree with our picks, make sure to berate us down in the comments below. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook, and you can even follow me personally on Twitter. Remember, this is not a sport. We don't play fight.